Justin Bieber was at the top. Sold-out arenas, platinum albums, and screaming fans across every continent. But beneath the glittering facade was a man exhausted by fame. It was 2027, and Justin felt drained, a prisoner to an image built since childhood. Each day blurred into the next: concerts, press events, forced smiles. Behind his smile was an emptiness only deepening with every passing year. One chilly October night, after a massive show in New York City, Justin vanished. No goodbyes, no public statements, no Instagram post to explain why. The next morning, headlines exploded worldwide. Bieber missing. But Justin was already far away, trading his designer clothes for fatigues, stepping onto the humid grounds of Fort Benning, Georgia. Name? Barked a drill sergeant with eyes cold as steel. Jay, Justin replied, his voice softer than intended. Jay what? Jay Brooks, sir. No one noticed that the new recruit bore an uncanny resemblance to a global superstar: short hair, stern expression, tattoos hidden beneath uniform sleeves. He blended seamlessly into the formation, just another face among hundreds. Justin, now Jay, felt strangely relieved. Here, fame didn't matter, only grit, determination, and obedience. Days turned to weeks of brutal training. Each morning began at 4:30 a.m., running miles in pouring rain or scorching heat. Justin's soft pop star hands quickly turned calloused from climbing ropes, digging trenches, and handling weapons. He endured ridicule from fellow recruits who saw only a weak city boy. Hey superstar, one recruit teased, sing us a lullaby tonight? Justin swallowed his pride, absorbing each insult silently. He wasn't here for admiration, he was here for freedom. Freedom from the suffocating spotlight. Freedom from the endless judgment of millions. Each exhausted step, each bruise, each shouted order was a price he willingly paid. The hardest adjustment wasn't physical, it was mental. Gone were the cheering crowds, replaced by shouts from drill instructors who pushed him beyond every known limit. The bright lights of the stage were replaced by moonlit night patrols, silent except for the rustle of leaves and steady breathing of fellow soldiers. Justin's transformation wasn't unnoticed. Gradually, jokes faded as recruits saw his persistence. Quietly respected, yet unremarkable, exactly what he had dreamed. One night, as he lay awake listening to crickets and distant thunder, Justin felt peace for the first time in years. He wasn't a star, wasn't a millionaire idol. He was just a soldier among soldiers, equal in struggle, bonded by hardship. But the peace was temporary. Because war doesn't care about fame, fortune, or past lives. And very soon, Justin Bieber, now Private Jay Brooks, would face battles far more real and terrifying than he had ever imagined. Private Jay Brooks had adjusted well to the routine of military life. Every morning at dawn, he joined his comrades for rigorous drills, pushing through exhaustion with quiet determination. Each day hardened him further, reshaping the once soft-handed pop idol into a disciplined infantryman. Jay's past life seemed increasingly distant, like fading echoes of a forgotten song. But reality struck hard and fast on a humid morning in late spring. Jay's unit received sudden orders: deployment overseas. Their destination was a volatile conflict zone, where danger was not a possibility, it was a guarantee. Anxiety pulsed through the barracks, though no soldier dared show it openly. Jay felt it too, a gnawing dread balanced only by his newfound sense of duty and brotherhood. Within days, they landed in a remote outpost, their boots sinking into mud mixed with rain and uncertainty. Gunfire rattled in the distance, an unsettling reminder of the imminent peril. Nights were worse, darkness amplifying every sound. Distant explosions, crackling radios, hushed whispers. Sleep was fragmented and brief, plagued by tense dreams. Jay quickly learned combat was nothing like training. There were no resets, no second takes. His first firefight erupted suddenly during a patrol, bullets snapping past like angry hornets. Adrenaline surged through his veins as instinct took over. He returned fire, his hands surprisingly steady. Later, as silence reclaimed the area, Jay felt a complex rush of relief and horror. He had survived, but innocence was forever lost. In combat, Jay discovered something profound: brotherhood. Men who once mocked him now stood beside him, ready to lay down their lives. In trenches, in foxholes, in frantic moments under fire, differences vanished. They fought as one, each man dependent on the other. Weeks stretched into months, battles blurring together in relentless chaos. Jay wrote secretly, scribbling lyrics into a battered notebook under dim lantern light. a quiet ritual that preserved a fragment of his old self. He found inspiration in pain, courage, and loss, each song raw and true. One fateful afternoon, his platoon walked into an ambush. Bullets ripped through the air, and Jay watched as a friend fell wounded, stranded between enemy fire and safety. Ignoring orders, Jay sprinted into the open, dragging his comrade back to cover. Later, trembling hands wrapped in bloody bandages, Jay understood courage wasn't about bravery, just an overwhelming urge to protect those he cared for. That night, huddled in a dimly lit bunker, Jay penned his most personal song yet, titled Brotherhood. His voice, barely audible, resonated with raw emotion, a testament to bonds formed not by fame, but by survival. The soldiers around him listened silently, some wiping tears, others simply nodding in quiet understanding. Jay Brooks was no longer Justin Bieber, pop sensation. He was a soldier shaped by fire and loss, forever altered by war's harsh lessons. Months in the conflict zone took their toll on Private Jay Brooks. His youthful face, once flawless and untouched, now bore the rough marks of combat, a rugged scar tracing his jawline, dirt etched deep into lines around weary eyes. Yet, in this transformation, he discovered something profound: purpose. One evening, Jay received news he'd long dreaded. His identity had been leaked. Back home, tabloids screamed headlines about the missing pop star turned soldier. Paparazzi invaded his hometown. Journalists hounded his family, desperate for answers. Yet, amidst the media frenzy, Jay remained focused. His unit needed him now more than ever. The revelation changed dynamics within the platoon. Some soldiers eyed him curiously, others with newfound admiration, but Jay quickly diffused attention by returning immediately to duties, volunteering for the harshest missions. His humility and courage earned deeper respect, proving he was more than a celebrity hiding in uniform. He was genuinely committed to the cause. As tensions in the region escalated, Jay's unit received a critical assignment: securing a village threatened by insurgents. This was no ordinary patrol. The stakes were life or death, the mission fraught with risk. Under the cover of darkness, the soldiers moved silently into position, Jay's heart pounding fiercely. They secured the perimeter, each man aware of the weight resting on their shoulders. As dawn broke, an eerie silence blanketed the village. Suddenly, gunfire erupted. The peaceful dawn shattered into chaos. Jay's training kicked in instantly. He led a small team through alleys, engaging insurgents, protecting frightened villagers caught in crossfire. Amid the turmoil, Jay spotted a child frozen in terror amidst the chaos. Ignoring the bullets whizzing dangerously close, he rushed forward, sweeping the child into his arms and sheltering him behind a crumbling wall. In that moment, Jay realized the stark difference between his past and present. On stage, he entertained millions. Here, he genuinely saved lives. Fame had brought him riches and adulation, but this raw moment of courage and compassion gave him true fulfillment. Eventually, the firefight ended, leaving an exhausted but victorious platoon. Jay sat quietly, nursing minor wounds, his uniform torn and stained. He reflected on the intense experience, knowing he could never return fully to his previous life. This new identity had etched itself permanently onto his soul. That evening, Jay again took out his notebook. He penned lyrics that flowed effortlessly from his heart, capturing the truth he'd discovered. Genuine heroism wasn't fame or fortune. It was sacrifice, bravery, and humility. For the first time in months, Jay allowed himself a small smile. He had not just survived. He had become someone he could truly respect. After countless battles and sleepless nights, Private Jay Brooks finally received orders to return home. He had survived physically, but emotionally, he was forever altered. The journey back felt surreal. Every step toward home was a step further away from the life he had fully embraced. The plane ride was quiet, soldiers lost in private thoughts. Jay stared out the window, recalling moments etched permanently into his memory, faces of fallen comrades, intense firefights, the laughter shared in brief moments of calm. His heart felt heavy with both gratitude and loss. Upon landing, Jay was met with a wall of cameras, flashbulbs exploding into a blinding frenzy. Reporters shouted questions, eager to capture the hero-turned-pop star on film. But Jay was overwhelmed by the chaos. He pushed through silently, escorted by fellow soldiers who understood his discomfort. Home was not the sanctuary Jay had hoped. The media relentlessly pursued him, begging for interviews and appearances. Headlines read, "Justin Bieber, hero or celebrity stunt?" Each story questioned his sincerity, accused him of using military service as a publicity stunt. The pain of misunderstanding cut deeper than physical wounds ever could. Seeking solace, Jay visited a veterans center, a place free from judgment and celebrity worship. He found comfort among those who truly understood his experiences. Together, they shared stories of survival, grief, and healing. Here, Jay rediscovered music, not as a performance but as therapy, a bridge to express emotions he couldn't put into words alone. Inspired by the veterans' resilience, Jay decided to use his platform to help others like him. He publicly addressed the nation, his words sincere and humble. "I didn't serve to be praised," he said softly, facing a sea of microphones. "I served because I needed purpose. But now, my purpose is clear, to support those who gave everything." Jay established a foundation dedicated to veterans, channeling his energy into fundraising, awareness, and advocacy. Slowly, perception shifted. The authenticity in his eyes, the raw honesty in his voice, convinced even the harshest critics. Jay was no longer just Justin Bieber, pop idol. He was a voice for veterans, respected and admired for his genuine sacrifice and compassion. Months later, at a veterans benefit concert, Jay stepped onto the stage. Instead of screams, respectful silence welcomed him. He picked up his guitar, fingers calloused from months of gripping rifles, and began to sing. His voice, deeper and richer with experience, echoed through the quiet hall, carrying a powerful message of hope, healing, and unity. As the last note faded, applause erupted, not for a pop star, but for a man who had found his true calling through trials and sacrifice. Jay Brooks stood humbled, finally at peace with himself, knowing his journey had led him exactly where he needed to be. Life after the military brought Jay Brooks new clarity and a renewed sense of purpose. Away from the harsh lights of fame, he dedicated himself fully to veteran advocacy. His foundation grew rapidly, providing support and resources to thousands of former soldiers struggling to adjust to civilian life. Jay embraced public speaking, sharing stories of his transformation from pop idol to infantry soldier. Audiences nationwide listened intently, captivated by his humility and honesty. His message was simple yet profound. Fame and fortune mean little compared to the bonds formed through shared adversity and sacrifice. Yet, despite his advocacy and newfound purpose, something still felt incomplete. Jay realized his journey wouldn't be complete until he fully reconciled his past and present. After much reflection, he decided to produce an album, the most authentic work of his career, titled From Fame to Foxholes. Recording the album became a deeply therapeutic experience. Each song was a chapter from his journey, vividly portraying his transformation from the youthful innocence of fame to the mature reflections of war and loss. Fans and critics alike recognized it as a masterpiece, not merely because of its musical quality, but because it was raw, truthful, and undeniably sincere. The album launch event was unlike anything Jay had experienced before. Held at a modest venue rather than a colossal stadium, it was intimate and meaningful. Veterans and their families filled the audience alongside fans who had supported Jay through every phase of his life. When he performed, his voice resonated with profound emotion, each lyric carrying the weight of personal truth and collective experience. After the concert, Jay mingled with the attendees, shaking hands, exchanging hugs, and listening to their stories. It felt right. The celebrity distance had vanished, replaced by genuine human connections. This wasn't a show, it was a communion of shared experience and mutual understanding. Jay's story inspired countless others to find courage and vulnerability, to embrace their journeys, no matter how unconventional. His transformation reminded everyone that life's true purpose often emerges from the most unexpected challenges. In a quiet moment backstage, Jay reflected on his incredible journey. The young boy who once dreamed of fame had discovered a far greater treasure: purpose. He was no longer defined by the stages he performed on or the millions of fans screaming his name. He had become a symbol of resilience, authenticity, and hope. Private Jay Brooks, formerly known as Justin Bieber, was finally at peace. His story, powerful and genuine, served as a beacon for anyone striving to find their place in the world. And as he stepped out into the night, surrounded by friends and fellow veterans, he knew his journey had only just begun.